Hey, son. Good afternoon. The question today is, when is the right time your son can have a girlfriend? Set the boundary. How? Let him study parenting at 3 p.m. each day for a year before he gets into a relationship. Meaning, let him watch one parenting episode from Old Pro Dad at 3 p.m. Let him write an article about what he learned from that episode at 9 a.m. each day. And let him film a YouTube video about that article he wrote at 4 p.m. each day. Let him do it for a year before you allow him to get into a relationship, before he can have a girlfriend. That's how you do it, son. And you know what? Today, most dads, they don't set that boundary. They just let their kids choose a random woman at school, at church, at the community. And of course, the problem is not the dad nor the kids. The problem here is not setting the boundary, that boundary. And that's valid maybe because they were not educated about this matter. Maybe they grow up where nobody taught them to set a boundary too. So the cycle continues. You know what, son? If you don't set that boundary to your son, it makes you uninvolved dad. It makes you neglectful dad. Why? Seriously, son, you are not guiding your son what it requires first. What boundary should do before he gets into a relationship? You are letting him get into a relationship without preparation. You are not teaching him what's the purpose of having a girlfriend. What what boundary should I tell my son? You are not doing these things. You are lacking of these things. You're letting him get into a relationship without any preparation, and that's what makes you neglectful, irresponsible, uninvolved dad. Can you imagine? You did not set boundary, right? And of course, your son, he doesn't deserve any of that. He doesn't deserve to be unprepared boyfriend, a boyfriend who doesn't know how to handle fights, conflict, finances, misunderstanding, forgiveness, a boyfriend who doesn't listen, who yell, who are disrespectful, who abuse his girlfriend. He doesn't deserve to be unprepared boyfriend. He doesn't deserve to be ignorant about this matter, right? I mean, do you want him to be unprepared boyfriend? A boyfriend with no boundaries, a boyfriend who is abusive, a boyfriend who doesn't listen. I mean, do you want him to be like that? Right? And he could have he could have been prepared boyfriend if only he had known that I wish I studied parenting first before I get into a relationship, before I have a girlfriend. If only I had known the importance of parenting, I wish I listened to my dad. He could have been prepared, matured boyfriend. But that won't happen because you didn't set the boundary for him. You didn't let him study parenting first before he gets into a relationship, right? And do you think somebody will teach him? Somebody will set the boundary for him? Do you think his friend will say, Emmanuel Ryder, you need to study parenting first before you have a before you have a girlfriend? Do you think his teacher will do it? His friend will do it? His neighbor will do it? His pastor will do it? No. Nobody is going to set that boundary for him. It's only you. It's only your wife. It's your responsibility to set that structure. To say, son, study parenting for a year first. Please, before you have a boyfriend. Before you have a girlfriend. Rather. Before you get into a relationship. And you know what? The problem is, since you are unprepared boyfriend, I mean, your son is so unlucky. Why? Because most teenagers nowadays, 15 years old, 14, 13, 12, they have girlfriends today and they don't even know what's the purpose of having a girlfriend. Their dad didn't set that boundary for them. So your son right now is just like everyone else's. He's like other teenager boys who doesn't even study parenting before they get into a relationship, before they have a girlfriend, right? Do you want your son to be like everyone else's? Ignorant, confused, and doesn't have idea why they have a girlfriend in the first place, right? Do you want him to be unprepared? You know what? Because chances are he will not sustain the relationship, meaning he will experience unnecessary breakups. Because what kind of woman did he choose, right? And your son, he doesn't even know what to look for from a woman, right? So, do you want him to experience unnecessary breakups? Of course not, right? And guess what? So, first, it makes you neglectful dad. Guess what? When your son becomes a dad himself in the future, he's going to be neglectful dad too. He's going to be uninvolved dad too. A dad who doesn't set boundary for his future children. Future children. Why? I mean, he saw your actions before when he was little. He never experienced you guiding him, setting boundaries. You never told him that he should have studied parenting each day. before he gets into parenting. He never get the chance to be educated by you. He saw your actions before. No boundaries? It's okay. You you didn't let him study parenting, watch parenting video at 3 p.m. You didn't let him write what he learned about it at 9 a.m. You didn't even let him film a podcast about that newsletter he wrote at 4 p.m. He never get he missed that opportunity. No wonder why your son is going to be a neglectful dad like you, because he never get the chance to be educated by you, right? And absolutely, son, he is going to do the same thing. He's not going to set that boundary for his future children too. Why? Because he grew up. He was raised. He grew up at home where setting boundary, where studying parenting first didn't exist, right? So, congratulations, sons. You created a generations of neglectful dad, a dad who doesn't set boundaries before his children get into in a relationship. And do you want your son to be neglectful, a dad who doesn't set boundaries? Do you want him to be like that? Do you want your son to teach similar thing to his future children? Of course not, right? Yeah, of course not. Absolutely no. You want him to be responsible. You want him to be prepared boyfriend, to be a prepared dad, right? But now the question is, how can you achieve it? How can you get that? Set that boundary. Let him study parenting at 3 p.m. for a year before he can have a girlfriend. Again, how can you do it? Let him watch one episode from All Pro Dad at 3 p.m. for a year each day. Let him write newsletter or article about what he learned from that episode at 9 a.m. each day. Let him film a YouTube podcast about that newsletter he wrote at 4 p.m. and let him do it for a year. So let him do it for a year. That's the boundary. Set that boundary before he gets into a relationship, before he can have a girlfriend. Why it's so effective? Of course, setting that boundary is effective because, son, it makes you it makes you responsible dad. It makes you mentoring dad. It makes you authoritative dad. I mean, it makes you structured dad, meaning you set the boundary. This time, you are you are educating him. You are educating him that, son, study parenting first for a year before you get into a relationship, before you can have a girlfriend. This time, you are doing it. You are educating him. You are guiding him what it requires to be prepared before he gets into a relationship, right? You are letting him study parenting, write about it, film about it, watch about it, right? Does he deserves to be prepared boyfriend? Does he deserves to learn about parenting? Yes, of course. He deserves all of that. He deserves to be prepared. He deserves to learn about parenting. He deserves how to handle fights, how to handle misunderstanding, how to listen, how to apologize, how to forgive, how to empathize, how to be kind, how to be respectful, how not to yell. He deserves to know all of that, and everything. Parenting will teach him everything about that. Yeah. And he's going to be prepared boyfriend this time because he's been studying parenting for a year. He's been writing 365 newsletter. Filming YouTube podcast. He's been filming 365 YouTube podcast episodes. He's been watching 365 YouTube episodes. So he made 365 contents and lessons about parenting. So he's prepared this time. I mean, don't you want that? Don't you want him to be prepared? Do you want him to be a good listener, a forgiving son, forgiving boyfriend, right? Do you want him to be matured, sensitive boyfriend, prepared? Yes, of course, right? And so this time, since you are educating him about that boundary, you set that boundary, and it makes you a structured dad, a dad who set boundaries. Of course, when he becomes a dad in the future, he's going to be like you. He's going to be a structured dad. Why? Because he saw your actions before. When he was a little, he, I mean, you let him study parenting, you let him write about it, you let him film about it, you let him watch about it. He got that chance to be educated by you. He got the chance to be educated by himself. You gave him the opportunity to educate himself. You gave him the chance to set the boundary, right? And that's what he learned from you. And of course, he's going to teach the same thing to his future children. He will set boundary too. He will tell his kids in the future that, guys, kids, son, study parenting first before you have a girlfriend, before you get into a relationship, right? So you created a generations of structured dad, where a dad that that set boundary, right? So congratulations, sons. And now this time your son is lucky because he's no longer like everyone else's, like every teenagers out there who are having a girlfriend without any having strong reason. Your son is so lucky to have that privilege to be educated by you. I mean, do you want him to be structured dad, to be involved dad, to be a boundary setting father? Of course, yeah, right. That's why today let him study parenting for a year before letting him get into a relationship. That's your challenge today. And of course, you learn from this letter. How? I meant, how do you know if you learn from this letter? Of course, before your action was, I don't care if my son doesn't study parenting. I don't care. I just let him choose the girl whatever he wants. I don't care. I don't give a F. But today, your action is different. Your action today is, no. I will let my son study parenting I will let him study parenting first before he gets into a relationship, before he can have a girlfriend. That's your action today. You are setting that boundary, and that's how you know you learn from this. If you set boundary today, you learn from this, son, and that's your challenge today, right? Yes, of course. You solve his problem today. So before you were unaware, before you don't set boundary, but today you set boundary now. And you will never allow him to get into a relationship without studying parenting for a year first. So you learn from this letter and you solved his problem. So if he's insisting, Dad, I'm so excited to have a girlfriend. Let me have a girlfriend, Dad. If that happens, always remind him to follow. Always remind him of that boundary. Study parenting first, right? And do it each time when he wants a girlfriend. When he tells you that I want a girlfriend, keep reminding him. And I know you're thinking right now. You will not set boundary today because you're thinking right now that I wish I could find a woman who study parenting or a woman who, but we don't have a woman who study parenting here. Son, go to YouTube, search parenting. If you found a woman who talks about parenting, who helps fathers, mothers, who talk about marriage, date her, get to know her, ask her values, ask her goals. If you are aligned, if she wants to raise respectful kids, marry her, start with the family with her. You know what? Because in the future, your son is going to say, Dad, Emmanuel, thank you. Thank you for choosing to set me a boundary before, because now I am prepared. Now I am learning about parenting. I am writing about parenting. I am watching about parenting. I am filming about parenting. And it helps me a lot, to grow more, to learn more, to get to know about myself, to know what I want, what I don't want. And I just realized I want a woman who study parenting too, just like me. And thank you, Dad. Thank you for your effort. Thank you for setting me about that boundary. Thank you for setting me that boundary before I get into a relationship, before you letting me have a girlfriend. And I really appreciate that. All right? Just remember that, son. And if I can summarize the letter today in one sentence, it would be this. Study parenting first before you get into a relationship, before you have a girlfriend. Thank you for listening. Thank you for choosing to set the boundary for your son. I really appreciate that. You got this. I'm just here for you, son. And time. See you tomorrow at 9 a.m. and time for the story. 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 First story. It's from my mom. Stop giving people responsibility to like you, love you, compliment you, give you attention, give you money, give you support. Ask for Ask to wash laundry, dishes, clean your house, clean your room. Do it yourself. And I remind myself that giving people responsibility to do something for me is not a good idea. I do it myself. I learned this the hard way because these past few days I have been asking money from a friend from Santiago, and good thing he didn't help me because I learned the hard way that my computer, my responsibility, my finances, my responsibility, my money, my responsibility. And same thing with love, attention, money, compliment, adoration. Like giving people to do that for you, it's like I am giving responsibility to other people to do it for me. It's unfair. Do it for yourself. Compliment yourself, adore yourself, like yourself, love yourself, pay attention to yourself, support yourself, give yourself money, wash your own laundry, clean your own house, clean your own dishes. Do it for yourself. Do it by yourself. Don't let others do it for don't let others do it for you. Stop giving responsibility to do it for you. Machiavelli bought on Substack, being defensive. One of the coping mechanism is bahala ka dyan mindset. Like because sometimes people says random things. So random people, random opinions, bahala ka dyan. It works. So it just like what happened to mom earlier. We were eating lunch and my brother already uh, nagpahilot sa kanyang paa kasi bali daw yung paa niya, and my mom was reacting so easily. You have to get to be careful, to don't do it again. Bahala ka dyan. Mark Manson, third story. How do you find something meaningful to work on? If you're not naturally tired at night and excited in the morning, you haven't found something to work on. And how do I measure my day? How do I measure the greatest of my day is when I write newsletter to teach my son, when I film a YouTube podcast to teach my son. This is how I know I have a great day. And I get excited in the morning. I get excited in the morning. I always look for I always say in the morning, today is going to be a great day because I'm going to I'm going to write and film to teach my son about family values, kindness, and next story is from dad. Not lowering your standard, not lowering the price of land. At around 10 a.m., they went to Palhe, other barangay, to bargain to to lower the price of the land. The original price of the land was 90,000, but they want 50,000. And they say they said earlier, no, they they want to keep it 90,000, and good for them. Don't lower your standard. Stop lowering your standard. It just doesn't work. Especially your worth. Kailin Alcantara, my son deserved to have a healthy skin, teeth, because it means confidence. I was watching her YouTube ad promoting talk jokes to go, and she her teeth was so healthy. Her skin was healthy, And I want my son to have a healthy skin, healthy teeth, because it's confidence. It's confidence. I'm telling you. All Pro Dad. Next story is from All Pro Dad. Kids will remember the action you do, not the words you say. Because today is a Father's Day. And I was watching their podcast and I realized kids remember the actions you do. Playing badminton with them, playing baseball with them, attending the volleyball with them, listening to them, singing song for them. I mean, our kids will remember that. And mom, being boastful, she was telling the mother of Tintin, Artie's girlfriend, she was telling what I do, even without asking. That's being boastful, and that's not a good thing. Next story is from yesterday because I forgot to tell the story of from yesterday last night because I was tired from the wedding of Kuya Wemby. So yesterday, Shemi bought junk food. No, no one guided her that junk food is bad for her health. Surrounding with convenience store, distraction environment. Shemi bought junk food yesterday, sour junk food, and no one was guiding her that it was a bad food. And our neighbor here sells junk food, so living in a distraction environment full of junk food, it's a bad thing. And next story is from Shimi again. Shimi was eating biscuit yesterday, and I felt she didn't want to give me, and she hid away from me. Yeah, I remember that I was watering the plant, and she was following me. And the first time I saw her, she was eating biscuit. And when I first saw her, she was like, "It feels like I don't want to give you." And then she was following me in the garden, and she hides. She stay away from me because she didn't want. I felt like she didn't want to give me some biscuit, and I realized, wow, people don't want to lose something. And Sahel Bloom, be yourself, dance, sing, and it reminds me of what happened to the party, alumni party, and I was dancing. I don't care about what other people think. I was just dancing, enjoying every beat of the music, and yeah, be yourself. And earlier I was riding, and my neighbor Steve, he was crying, and I realized, wow, my son deserves to live in an environment where distraction free from junk food, from crying, from bad behavior. Next story from Old Bro Dad, educating our son, educating our kids about respect at 10 a.m. each day. Yeah, because nobody is going to teach our kids about respect, about kindness. No one's going to teach them. And public school is full of destruction, disrespect, unkind. And they were saying children at school, public school, were unkind, disrespectful, and yeah, the environment there, it's bad. Scheduled to play badminton with your son at 11 a.m. Yep. And that's it for our story today. Thank you for listening to the story, son, and see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Let me close the camera now.